To this week's version of Digital Dots Live, and I have the amazing Ruth Watkins with me, which is super exciting, who is a sleep success coach. So we're going to talk to Ruth in a moment about all the ways sleep can help us be successful in our personal and our business lives, which is super, super exciting. So if you are joining me live, do let us know where you're joining me from. So maybe say your name, and then if you're watching in a group, say your name and where you're streaming in from. And if you're watching the replay and you have any questions, then just put #replay and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So I'm going to get Ruth's little intro up, but I often like to just let the guest actually introduce themselves, but I will just read a little bit and then Ruth can add to that, which will be super cool. So let me get that up. Okay, so we're really excited. So Ruth helps female business owners banish those bad night sleeps, learns the steps to improve your sleep patterns and becomes more productive, optimize your health, gain energy, improve emotional health. And she does that through being a sleep success coach. So Ruth, I'm sure you can elaborate on that a little bit more. So do introduce yourself and tell everyone where you are based. And yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Anita, for having me today. I'm really pleased to be with you all. So yeah, I'm Ruth Watkins and I am a sleep success coach. And what I help to do is, rather than join the digital dots, I help people join the dots to sleep success. And one of the things that I am trying to get people to realize is that these days they really need to prioritize sleep. So many people don't, and so many people suffer as a consequence of not doing that. So I try through educational methods and techniques to help people with any problems that they've got to do with their sleep and help them understand what can make their night's sleep better quality and better quantity.
Brilliant. So we have Nick here and he's in cloudy Hampton. Yes, it is cloudy in Ealing as well. Whereabouts are you based, Ruth?
I'm based in Chorleywood in Hertfordshire for the time being. I may be going back to Gloucestershire at the beginning of March time, I think. But I don't think that matters because we're all joined online these days. So yeah, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, we can work from anywhere, which is great.
We can.
It's great. Okay, so we've got a few questions. Thought we'd guide the conversation with those questions. And then if anyone else has a question, then do drop it in the comments and we'll pull it up at the same time and, you know, obviously address it. So don't be shy. Do feel free to ask any of those sleep questions because I know I'm guilty of not getting enough sleep. I think it's not so much going to sleep. It's that I wake up during the night and then I take ages to go back to sleep. So maybe we can have a little look at that in a moment. So first question I'd like to ask you is, why is sleep so important to our physical and mental health?
There are so many reasons as to why it's important. To put it in a nutshell, basically what sleep does is help our body repair and renew itself and helps our brain collaborate, all the things that have gone on throughout the day, helps us manage stress levels. So it's a physical, it's a psychological, and it's a cognitive plus point to get good quality sleep. I mean, being sleep deprived in the long term can affect you with long-term health problems such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, all the nasties. But in the short term, it lowers our immune system. It makes us not as productive. It doesn't regulate our moods. It doesn't regulate our hormone balances. So there are things that happen in the short term, but there are things that we really want to try and avoid in the long term as far as being sleep deprived is concerned. So trying to hit the nail on the head as soon as possible and sort sleep out is advantageous for everybody.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I suppose that brings me to my second question is, can you share the advantages of getting a good night's sleep? Because, you know, there's sleep and then there's good sleep. So are there different levels of sleep? And, you know, how do you sort of work that out?
Yeah. Well, there are different levels of sleep. So we most of us sleep in a 90-minute cycles of sleep throughout the night, and 5 of those are ideal. And within those cycles of sleep, you will have non-REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, and then you will have REM sleep. And they do different jobs. When you're in the deeper stages of non-REM sleep, that's when you get huge, big, slow delta waves. And those are the ones that help really repair our body. They're the ones that are ultra important for our physical state. As we enter REM sleep has much more to do with the brain. It helps consolidate our memory. It helps us process emotion. It helps us become more productive. So those different stages are equally as important. And that's why we don't just talk about sleep quantity, it's quality as well, because we need to go through the 90-minute cycles in order to get the right amount of non-REM sleep and REM sleep throughout the night. And they change as far as ratio is concerned as the night progresses.
Interesting.
So it is important to go through those 5 cycles. And you will perhaps notice that, or some people may notice that if they wake up very early in the morning, that's when it's as the night progresses, we get more REM sleep. And they may notice that if they wake up far too early, so they wake up, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and they can't get back to sleep, then they may have had sufficient amounts of the deep delta brainwave sleep that they need, but they won't have had enough of the REM sleep that they need. So that will make them grumpy, it'll lower their mood, it'll do all those sorts of nasty things. They won't, their memory won't have consolidated short term to long term. They'll be less productive during the day because concentration, attention, all those sides of things, they'll be less energetic. So it really matters that those 5 cycles are completed properly throughout the night to get the right ratio of those 2 types of sleep.
Wow, well, you've answered the question, which is what is a good night's sleep? So you've answered that one, which is fantastic. So that is a really important part, especially as an entrepreneur who's running their own business as well, because being able to remember what you did earlier, but also be in high energy, you know, because obviously you are portraying your brand, and if you're very tired and very sluggish, then that's going to come off in all of the things that you do online, including your content and the videos that you create. If you're
Absolutely.
not, you know, if you're not energized, that's really going to happen. So
And
sorry.
Your concentration levels and your creativity as well will come into that. So if you're lacking in sleep, those sides of things will not be quite as quite as on point.
Yeah,
so it's really important from a productivity point of view to be able to get the right quality sleep, amount of sleep. The right amount of sleep per person does differ. Generally between 7 and 9 hours a night is the optimum amount. Anything under 7, you're starting then, the majority of people, to become sleep deprived. Some people can cope between 6 and 7, but the majority of people can't. They think they might be able to, and that's a big thing with lots and lots of people. They say, oh, I can cope on 4 hours, I can cope on 5 hours sleep. Short term, some people can. Long term, people can't. You've only got to look at people. Margaret Thatcher was one person who always said, I can cope on 4 to 5 hours sleep. What happened from a point of view of a long-term health condition? She began to suffer with Alzheimer's, as did Ronald Reagan, who was also somebody that said, I can deal with 4 to 5 hours sleep a night. So that 7 to 9 is the important figure to try and achieve on a regular basis.
So Natasha's gets 7, which is good.
Yeah.
And I suppose I need to look at my alarm clock, because I have my iPhone set so that it goes into sleep mode at like 10:30, and then it wakes me up at 7:30.
Yes.
But so I think it, with because I've got an Apple Watch, I think it can tell sometimes. So it's mine's probably just a bit broken sleep rather than not getting enough sleep. But I can see how that could accumulate on if you lose hours every night, and then suddenly you're completely shattered at the end of the week, and it will have a knock-on effect on your energy levels and everything that you do, especially if you're busy running a home as well as running your business. I think it's it's a massive thing that we need to do. So what, I'm going to swap the questions around. So what steps can someone take to get sleep successfully? So if I know that you have a blue light thing, which we can talk about in a moment, but what about sort of organic steps? What can we do to try and get ourselves ready for bed? Some
basic sleep hygiene. I think it's not a very nice phrase. I don't like it very much, but let's use that today. So sleep hygiene is your environment, the things you do to be able to continue a good night's sleep. So things like temperature, keeping your bedroom at the right temperature, making your bedroom into that super sleep sanctuary that you're very, very keen to get to. Dimming lights at night, making sure that you don't have your blue light emitting devices in your bedroom, making sure you get enough light at the right time of the day. So first thing in the morning, it's really important to get good light, good natural light, because that helps switch off our production of melatonin, which is our sleep hormone. So getting morning light is a great thing to be able to do that. It also helps balance our 24-hour internal clock, which is called our circadian rhythm. It does lots of other processes as well, but our circadian rhythm can only stay sort of balanced properly by getting light at the right time of the day. So getting natural light first thing in the morning is really, really important. As far as the blue light emitting devices, so all our devices that we use, all our electronic devices emit blue light, and blue light stops the production of melatonin. So we need melatonin in order to fall asleep properly. And the production of that tends to start through our circadian rhythm at around 9 in the evening. So in order to encourage that, it's a really good thing to start to dim the lights and the lights within your house, your bedroom. But it's important also to stop perhaps either using your blue light emitting devices, your laptop, your tablet, your phone. Yeah, I can see everybody going, don't do this. But one way you can do that is to use certain blue light filter devices. And you can buy them. The company that I work with, as you've already mentioned, is called OcuShield. And they provide blue light filters for laptops, for tablets, for mobile phones. They also produce, I should have brought it down with me, shouldn't I? I've got it upstairs in my bedroom. They have a bedside light that I never ever switch on my bedroom lights. In the evening, I always use just this bedside light. And you can grade the intensity of the light to what you need, whether I read before I go to sleep, so I'll have it slightly higher for that, but it's still nothing in comparison to an overhead light or a ordinary bedside lamp. So these blue light filter products are just really, really useful to stop that blue light being emitted and stopping our production of melatonin. The OcuShield products were actually developed by an optometrist, because blue light not also stops melatonin, it can affect our eye health as well. And he was very worried that lots of products on Amazon and various other places were probably not great quality. So as part of, it was either his master's or his PhD, but I can't remember which one, actually decided to develop some products of his own, and that's what he's done. So these are really high quality products that do what they say on the tin, and they emit or they filter the blue light emissions from any of our devices. So they are brilliant. Excellent.
That's really interesting. Because obviously a lot of the devices you can have like a dark mode for nighttime, so it sort of reduces that eye strain.
Yeah.
But the blue light obviously helps you generate that right environment to switch off, because it is very difficult. We watch TV,
yes,
you just go straight to bed and things like that. So that's interesting. So it is really important that we do that. So how do you as a coach help people to sleep then? So imagine that I came to you and said, oh, I'm waking up, like for instance, I think Natasha said that she gets a deep sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Not a deep sleep. I'm a light sleeper and I can wake up a few times during the night. So how would you sort of tackle that sort of issue? Because obviously the broken sleep probably does stop from her sleeping. So this is an example.
Well, as far as Natasha's concerned, I mean, one thing that I would ask is, how long do you stay awake once you've woken in the night?
Okay.
All of us wake during the night. We're usually not aware of it when we're younger. As we get older, we tend to be more aware of when we wake up. As long as you get back to sleep within 5-10 minutes, that's fine. That is quite normal. And that's nothing to get sort of stressed about or worried about. But if you do wake during the night and you find it very difficult to get back to sleep, people use very different methods, and different methods work for different people. Some people will pop a podcast on and just listen to a story that will send them off to sleep. Some people, I'd say, try not to get up unless absolutely necessary. But if you do need to get up, again, keep the lights down low. There are red filter night lights that you can use, which are much, much better than turning on a light, but it still means if you need to get up to go to the loo in the middle of the night, you won't fall over, you won't fall over the cat or whatever. You'll still be able to see. Some people find that just reading a couple of pages of a book might help. Everybody is different, but it is normal to wake throughout the night. You tend to wake up during your sleep is lighter at the beginning of one of your 90-minute cycles, and sometimes during your REM sleep as well. So those are the periods where you could wake a little more easily. Sometimes if you're not using blackout curtains, perhaps in the springtime, the light could wake you up. So again, if you're finding that that's what's waking you up, make sure that you're using blackout curtains. So in May, April, May, when you get very light mornings, that can really, really help. Some people find using an eye mask helps. Some people find using earplugs works. It's a little bit of trial and error. Again, a very important thing to do is not to try desperately not to get too stressed about it, because getting stressed and getting anxious about waking up can make the whole thing an awful lot worse. If you find as a business person, you wake up with your brain going crackers in the middle of the night, a really, really good tip is to have a pad and paper at the side of the bed. So if you've got a couple of ideas that you want to jot down, you can just jot them down, and the likelihood is you're getting those out, you're writing it down, and hopefully you should be able to fall back to sleep again. But it's important whenever I work with somebody that I always ask somebody to fill out a sleep diary to begin with. So it's really important for me as a sleep coach to find out exactly what people's pain points are, and to find out what is actually stopping them from sleeping. CBTI is I don't use it, I'm not qualified to use it, but if somebody has got a very, very chronic problem with insomnia, CBTI is a brilliant method to allow people to especially get over that anxiety about sleep. So mindset is important as well. Sleep routine is important. Waking up in the morning at the same time, going to bed at the same time. Not always easy, but routine is key as well. Giving yourself enough time before you're expecting to go to sleep. So giving yourself what's called sleep opportunity. So if you want to be asleep by 11, then maybe you might go to bed at 10:15. Getting a routine ready to get ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
So just cleaning your teeth, cleansing your face, having a bath, doing whatever. They're all familiar things that our brain will suddenly go, oh, hold on a minute. We're actually preparing to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's better.
So it's finding out all those things about my clients before I start working with them that helps me understand where their problems are.
Yeah, that sounds really good. It sounds like it's a very bespoke service that you offer. So
yes.
We've gone through quite a few things today, like why is sleep so important to our physical and mental well-being? You know, what are the steps that you can do to actually get a good night's sleep? And then some of the tricks of the trade, if you do wake up, you know, some of those sort of points of what you can do to try and not stay awake. So how can people actually work with you, Ruth?
Right, well, so the one way that people can work with me is work with me on a one-to-one basis. And I've actually finished now for this year doing that, because I think this time of year coming up is more difficult for people to get into a proper routine and do something very sensible with sleep. So I should be starting doing one-to-ones again in January. So people can go on to my Linktree and be able to go onto Calendly and book a short call with me. So that's one way of doing that. The other thing that I'm doing in January, at the end of January on the 28th, Friday the 28th of January, I am doing a masterclass, 60-minute masterclass called Stress Less, Sleep Better. And I did a couple of other masterclasses last year, and normally I get sort of 10, 12, 15 people on them. We go through a presentation. There's time for questions and answers. People can follow up with me on it. So there are a number of ways that people can work with me. I also, through LinkedIn, I post quite regularly on LinkedIn, and I'm always offering tips and techniques on LinkedIn. So that's a really good way of finding out a bit more about sleep. And hopefully in the new year, Anita Wong, I am going to start doing some YouTube videos as well. So that's going to be another way that people can connect with me. I'm always happy to come and give talks on people's groups, people's networking groups, whatever. So yeah, it's or just message me and ask me a question. There are lots of ways you can get in touch with me. So
Yeah, really important. You can find you on LinkedIn, and I've just popped your Facebook page into the chat for those that are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. So for those of you watching us on LinkedIn, just type in Ruth Watkins into the search bar of your LinkedIn account and she will pop up as a sleep success coach.
there I'll be.
So thank you so much, Ruth, for joining me.
You're very welcome.
And especially like what you said, you know, it is the season to be merry. And
Yes.
that means that we may not be getting enough sleep. So just to make sure that you do give yourself some time to prepare for bed and not just roll into it, because I'm sure you'll wake up, you know, if you haven't made that preparation, like you say, you'll get that initial sleep and then you'll awake and then it will be very difficult to get back to sleep. So I'm sure after Christmas, there'll be lots more people interested in actually getting back into a routine.
Well, I think that come the new year, I should be doing a lot of posts on LinkedIn about how to start off your year to prioritise your sleep. So yes, absolutely. Everybody will be able to follow those.
Okay, perfect. So thanks very much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions about what you've just heard and anything that we've spoken about, then do drop a comment below either Ruth's videos or my videos. I'm actually using Restream to live stream today, and we have paired our streams. So this is going out on Ruth's accounts and on mine. So I will speak to you all soon. My name's Anita Wong, and we have had Ruth Watkins join us. And next week is the pre-Christmas Digital Dots Live, where we'll be doing a workshop style looking at Facebook groups.
Yay, that sounds good.
Yay. See you soon, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.